So today we are going to learn something about Node.js with MongoDB and Express framework. So how to develop website in Node.js using MongoDB, that we are going to learn. So Node.js is based on JavaScript, and JavaScript, it is faster because we know that JavaScript is going to execute in client's machine, right? So in client machine it is going to execute, but it is going to execute in browser, and each browser have some engine to execute the HTML or JavaScript. So there is one engine in Google Chrome, that engine name, that is a V8. Based on that one, this Node.js is working. So Node.js have created its own server for executing JavaScript at server side instead of client side. So whatever request you are sending, that request will be executed at the server side, but in the environment of the JavaScript. So that's why it is faster than other one. And you can see in current market, all the performance related applications are going to generate in Node.js, like chat engine. Chat, if you want to create a chat type of application, that require a lot of server communication. So at that time, Node is better. But if you are not having too much server request, then you can use other technologies like just a PHP, Laravel, or any other technology. But for more performance, you are sending a frequent request to the server, then you must use the Node.js, right? So without wasting our time on just a theoretical portion, we are directly going to shift to the practical session. So first of all, let me show you what we are going to learn today, what we will do. So I have already prepared one demo application. I will show that type of same application we are going to develop. This is the project. How to start this project? To start the projects, we have to go to the command prompt. So here you have to open the command prompt. If you are in window, you can directly open by shift and right click. So here you can see open command window here, or you can directly open the command window and go reach towards this path where your project is located. So here, to execute this project, you require, first of all, you require two things, two softwares, that is a npm and Node. So after installation, if you want to verify what is the version and whether it is installed correctly, you can type npm -v. So it will show the version number of npm. So if it is going to show correctly, if it is going to show some number, here you can see that is a 6.1 14.4. This is the version of npm that I have installed in this system. If you are getting this message, that means your npm working correctly. It is installed properly. And you also need to check the Node. That means you also need to install Node. And for that one also you can use Node -v. So Node version, that is 14.0.0. This is the Node version we are going to use for this project. Now to start, you have to type Node and then some of the file name. I will explain while we create it. Currently I am giving the file name, that is a app.js. So application is going to start, server is going to start, and here you can see server listening at the port 3000 and MongoDB database connection successfully. So I have to open browser and I have to use this port number 3000 where this server is providing its service. So let me open this. So we have to type localhost colon 3000, and here I am going to type user because I have created a website on this port now, this URL. So this is the output of that application. Here you can see Okay, so this type of application we are going to develop during our workshop. Here you can see records are going to display from the database. These records are coming from the database. For all this record, you can edit the record, you can delete the record, you can add the new record. For example, I'm going to add user one ABC, any dummy record I'm going to enter, and then submit. This is the insertion process. If you submit it, here you can see new record is inserted. You can update it, like instead of user one, you can type username one and submit. So that record is edited, and you can delete that record. It is asking for confirmation. So this type of add, update, delete, and display, this facility we are going to demonstrate during this workshop. Right? So how to create this? Before this one, for example, suppose we are having some HTML template, and we want to use that HTML template to create this type of application. So I already have one HTML template. You all are aware with the HTML and JavaScript and CSS. So we are not going to waste too much time on designing purpose. So our main focus is on CRUD application, that means add, update, delete, and display. So let me show you what we are having, and we are going to create a new project similar to this one. So let me close this one, and we will start a new environment. Okay, here you can see in desktop I have one folder. I am going to create one new project over here, but in this folder I am having HTML file. This is for easiness or for some design purpose. I already have one HTML. You can see this is the HTML. This is just a HTML. There is no functionality implemented in this one. We are going to implement add, update, delete, and all this facility. This is a add page, and this is a display page where we are going to display record. This is not working, just HTML and CSS written in this file. So we are going to start with this one. We will use this one, but how to use it, that also I am going to explain. So let me create a new project. So I am going to create a new folder. Folder name, that is for example we are going to give the project name we want to give, for example, demo. Now inside this one we will create our project. So how to start, how to initialize the project, for that one also you have to reach up to this path through the command prompt. You can use any other editors also. For example, you can use Sublime, or you can use any of the other Notepad, or you can use a Visual Studio Code. So any of the environment you can use. For example, I am going to use Visual Studio Code. So that editor also you can use, or you can just write down in Notepad also. That is not the constraint for development of any or node application. So let the Visual Studio open, and also I'm going to open the command prompt. For that one, I just pressing the shift and right click. So here there is the option for starting the window. Now our Visual Studio also open. Okay, and let it open. We are going to type command over here. So currently we are inside the demo folder. Now what we are going to do, we are going to type a command npm init. This is the command for initializing your project. So once you execute this command, once you enter, it will ask few of the question, like what is the name of your project, what is the version of project, who is the owner of that project, do you have any Git version, that type of command, that type of questions they will ask, like what is the package name. So here you can give the package name. So if I want to use another package name instead of demo, here you can see this is the default value. If you don't enter anything, it will take by default this name. So I'm not going to enter anything. Demo is okay for this one. For here, same version, it will take 1.0.0. If you want to take it, then just enter. Otherwise, you can type your own also. For example, 1.2.0. That also you can type. But if you don't type anything, just press enter. It will accept 1.0.0. Description. That is CRUD application in Node.js plus MongoDB. Then entry point, yes, this is the entry point. That means which file will be your main file. So by default index.js file is there. You can also use that file, or you can give any name. For example, I want to use, instead of index.js, I want to use app.js. So this is the starting point of the application. Test command, here also I am going to bypass. Git repository, if you are having Git account, you can give the Git repository path. Keywords for this project, if you want to give any keywords. So author, for example, for this one, let me type my name. License, if you are having license, then you can type the license. Right? It is just confirming that this detail is for your project. Just say yes. So your project is initialized. You can see here one file will be generated, that is a package.json. Right? Let me open this file, or instead let me open this whole folder in our Visual Studio Code. Open folder. Let me select the path. This is the folder that we have created in desktop, and this is our project folder. Let me select that folder. So that project will be opened over here. Currently we are only have one file, so that file will be displayed over here. Okay, so demo folder is open, and you can see package file is there. If you open it into editor, you can see this file having the detail of the project, or you can say it is the configuration file of your project. That means what type of packages you have installed over here, that is going to display in this file. Like what is the name, what is the version, description, what is the entry point, and author, everything will be over here. And whatever packages you will install, that also will be listed over here. So let me first of all install few of the packages, because in Node.js we will use Node.js is what it is, one environment, but we are going to use one framework also. So as a framework we will use a Express. So we need to install that framework. So again we have to go to the command prompt. You can do from here also, or from here also you can go to the command prompt, and here also you can type the command. Both way it will work, but I'm going to type commands in command prompt. Few of the packages we are going to use in this project. So let me install it. For that one, command is npm. Again, the command is npm and install. This is the command for installing any of the packages, right? So npm install and then package name. I want to install Express package. That's why that package name. And if you want to install more packages, you can also specify multiple package names. So after space, you can give another package name. I want to also use body parser and EJS. These are the packages that I'm going to use. So I'm going to install it. You can also mention the version of all these packages. For example, Express package is there. I want to install its version 1.0.2 or 1.2.3, for example. So you can mention like this way. But if you don't specify any version, it will take the latest packages. These packages will be downloaded from the internet. Right? So let me just enter. So these packages will be downloaded and will be installed in your project. But if you want to install these packages globally, means in your computer, if you want to install these all packages, you can mention -G or -G option. That will be for the global, for everyone, right? But generally we are using for our project specific. So here I have not mentioned any of the option. So it will run the install all the commands. Process will start and will install one by one all these three packages. And after that one, you can see this package file also will be updated, and whatever packages are going to install, that will be added over here. So later on you can update those packages. So here you can see process is going on till it is going to install. Let me show you one website. That website is for the all the packages of the npm. Npm is what? It is a software that is providing platform for all these repositories, right? So this website npmjs.com, this website has the detail of all the packages available in that one. You can search any of the package. For example, I want to check the express package, right? So let me type the name of the package, express. You can select from the list. There are lots of packages related to express, but we are going to use the express framework. Here you can see express handlebars, but I want to use express. So detail of express package will be available here, and how to install it, its example. For example, if you want to install it, the command is npm I, or you can say npm install express. The same way we have typed, but we have included multiple packages, right? So after installation, how to use it, that is also mentioned here. You can see here it is mentioned, like if you want to use express package, you have to specify like this way. Like you have to create one variable, or you can say it is a one type of constant or a object for this express package. You have to use the required method. So using this one, you can create its object, or you can say a variable. Now let me show this progress. Okay, so here you can see body parser, EJS and express are added, and no vulnerability. So it is installed. Now let me verify whether it is installed or not. So go to our project. You can see here node_module folder is created inside our project, right? So this node_module contains all the details of our packages, and also you can see here dependency also added in our package.json file. You can see body parser, what is the version of that one? That version is 1.19.0. What is the version of EJS? That is 3.1.5. And what is the version of Express? That is 4.17.1. You can verify with latest one also. Here you can see what is the current version, 4.17.1. So if you want to use specific version, for example, some of the version don't support any some of the facility, or your old project is in some another version and you want to run that project, you can use you can directly install that package, that version also, by mentioning the version of the any of the packages. So we have installed all of this, but we have not still created our file, that is our entry file. That entry file is a app.js, right? So let me create that file, app.js. So this is our app.js file. Now what you have to write here, we can write our JavaScript related code. For example, in JavaScript you can write down this simple command. For example, in JavaScript, if you want to print any of the message to the console, then we are going to write down console. After saving, let me run this program. So to execute this program, what I have to type, node, and what is the entry point we have given at the start of creation, app.js, the file that we created just now, right? This is app.js file. So here you can see the output, whatever we have written over here, that is going to display. So here we can write down our JavaScript related code, but also Node.js have its own library. We are also going to include our own packages, like we have included Express, we have included EJS, we have included body parser. So those also we are going to use. So along with JavaScript, we are going to use extra packages, extra libraries, right? So before that one, let me clear few of the JavaScript concept. For example, in JavaScript, if you want to create any function, or if you want to include any of the file, then how we can do it? For example, I'm going to create a new file. File name is, for example, my function.js. Here, for each file, we will give the extension js. So this is a function. For example, I'm going to create a function just like you are creating in JavaScript, right? So function and function name, for example, message, and after that one, I'm going to create its body, and in body I'm going to write down console.log. Just a simple message like this is message function, right? This is message function of my function file, right? My function.js file. Okay. So here you can see we have created one function, but that function is inside which file? That function is inside my function.js. But our entry point is what? Our entry point is f.js. So how to use that file? To use that file, we have to use the require, right? So it is something like include that we are going to use in PHP. So here we have to give the name of the file. So here file name, that is a my function.js, but you don't need to specify the extension of the file, because every file will have extension js. So here we don't need. Also, this is not the inbuilt package, so that's why we cannot write down directly. Instead, we have to write dot slash, that means the current directory, because this file is located in current directory. That's why I have mentioned dot and slash. Okay. Instead of this one, let me write down into Notepad so it will be visible properly. Okay. So let me open that project. Instead of here, let me open into Notepad. Okay. So this is our project folder. Now I'm going to open this file in Notepad++. Right. So this is our function, and this is our f.js file. In f.js file, I have written required and dot slash and file name without extension. That means we have included that. So here we can also store into some variable, for example, where, and we can say my function, or any name we can give. Here the same way we can use, but still there is a concept in Node.js that you cannot access variable or functions of one file into another file directly. So here we have created message function, but directly you cannot access that message function over here, just like you have mentioned like this way. So what you need to do, you have to export this function. So for exporting, you can write down, for example, here I am going to use module dot export is equal to function. So sorry, exports, module dot exports, and then the name of the function. Then I have defined the function. That means this is going to export. This function is going to export. So this function will be available to this file, and now my function will work like a message function. So how to use it? Let me use it. For example, this is a JS file. After that one, I'm going to use, for example, my function, just like this one. Because now what will happen in my function? Sorry, here that is a spelling mistake. Okay, here in my function file, this message function will be exported and that is stored inside this my function variable, right? So that's why this variable will become now a function. So you can use it like a function. So here you can see output should be like this is app.js file, and after that one this will be the output, this message function from the my function.js. So let me run this program again. Node app.js, you can see this is app.js file and this is message function of my function.js file. So this way we can include the file. Now my main purpose for explaining this one, because everywhere we will create this type of function, right? And how many ways we can create the function, that I'm going to explain. For example, this function is going to accept some parameter. For example, this is going to accept parameter like MSG, right? So what I also need to pass over here some parameter. For example, test. I'm going to pass the parameter test. So now this test will be passed over here and it will be stored into this one message. And I can also print like instead of this one, I can print the message. So whatever I am passing from this app function through this function, that text will be printed over here, right? So let me test it. So you can see test is printed. But how different way you can also write this function. For example, this function you want to write down, you can write down like this way also. See, you can write down like this way also. Without this is a shorthand notation, or you can say a arrow operator, or you can say a arrow notation, right? So here are the parameters. Then after you can mention this one and directly you can start the function body. So this also will work. Let me save it and again run this program. So same output. So these are the different ways that we can create the function, right? So everywhere we will use this type of function. That's why I have explained this concept. Now let me start our exact project. This is just for your explanation, so no need for this one right now. Let me comment it out and let me explain the core functionalities. Okay, so first of all, I want to create a variable for the express and require. This is also one type of package that is we have already installed, so we can directly write down express without any directory path, because it is a inbuilt package that we have already installed over here. And for this type of inbuilt packages, you should use const. It is not compulsory, you can use var, but by chance you cannot replace this variable, that's why you should use const, right? So whatever packages we have used, we are going to use over here. For example, we have used a body parser and the exact package name, that is a body dash parser, and then EJS. Here also I'm going to use EJS, right? And after that one, I'm going to type one variable, for example, f is equal to express, and I have used its constructor, so this is the object of that express. And after that, I'm going to use app dot use. And here, what I'm going to create, we are going to create a website, so we require routes. That means if I'm going to type localhost / user, then I want to display something. If I type localhost / user / add, then I want to display the add page. So here what I am going to do, if I just type /, that means after localhost, if I just type /, what I want to do, that I have to write over here, right? So now see what I am going to write down over here. This is the thing that I just explained earlier. Like I am going to write down request response, and here you can see the function body. So now you can compare this with this one, right? So you can see this is one not anything, but it is just a function. So it is a callback function. You can say callback function that accepts two parameters, that is the request and response. So whatever request you are calling, that request will be passed to, that request will be available in here, and whatever response you want to give, that response will be available in this one, right? So this is what we have done, and here I am going to write down console. If I just call localhost slash, then it will display just a log message. For example, home. But to work this one, we have to start the server also. So this app facility from where we are going to use from Express. So all details you can find from this Express package. That means if you want to look into that Express package, you can see how you can use it. You can see this way you can use it. How you can create this object like this way. How you can create the function like this way, right? You have to create a server. How you can create a server? For creating server, you can use this one. For more detail, all the parameters, you can go through this one. You can see more examples. For example, okay, over here it is not given, but based on the packages, you can see more examples also. So this is the example for Express. Now let me show you the example for the body parser also. So for body parser, what we need? It is what? It is a middleware, parsing middleware, or you can say whatever request you are sending, that request will be passed through this one, this middleware, right? So every request will pass through this one. So you can convert that request also. So like this way we can create it. We already done it. After that one, what we can do here, because generally see what is the main purpose of MongoDB and Node.js. Every data we are going to transfer through the JSON format. That is the main advantage of it. So for that one, you can mention that we are going to pass all the data through the JSON request. You need this type of this body parser, right? So how you can mention it? You can mention through these two lines, like what we are going to use. This is the object that we have created. Then URL encode extends, and here we need to specify true or false, and then body parser.json. So every data will be passed through the JSON format, right? So let me copy this one, and we are going to use the same in our application. Here I'm going to use both of the statement, and let me remove the comments so you can read it properly. Okay, so here you can see same name we have given, so there is no confusion. Here extends, we can mention true or false. Let me mention it true. That means we want to we want to encode the URL. So whatever form you are going to submit, that will be encoded and will be extended in extended format. And all the requests will be converted to the JSON. And here I have mentioned the console.log. And yes, one more thing, I have to start the server. So to start the server, I need app.listen. And you need to specify the port number. Any port number you can give, but mention those type of port that is not used by operating system. You know, some of the default ports are going to use by many of the applications, like 80 port is used by many of the applications, right? So give port number like 3000, 4000, that is not used by any of the application. You can just mention this one, that is okay. You can also mention extra parameters. For example, here I'm going to pass the function. See, again I'm going to use the same structure, function with no parameter, right? With no arguments. So here, what I am going to check, or you can specify the message over here, like console.log. We are listening on port number 3000, or server started at port 3000. So once this statement executed, or once this statement executed, that means our server is starting listening 3000 port number, right? So that's it. Let me check this application, and here you can see once we type slash, or we can say once we type after localhost 3000, whatever I will type, that means after localhost 3000 I am going to type a slash, or slash don't need to write, right? So directly, what is the starting point of our app? That is this one. Once we start our app, this message will be displayed. Earlier we have started, no message is going to display. This is just a simple message that we directly type, but this is when our server is going to start. So let me start it. So here you can see server started at port 3000. Now we have to access through the browser. Right. So let me close this one. And yes, now this is the earlier application that we already closed, but this application we have started. So if I'm going to type localhost 3000 and slash, and if you don't type slash, then also okay, because by default it will take the slash, or you can type the slash and place the enter. So here you can see there is no output in the screen. You can see process is ongoing. This is the output of earlier program, or let me close it and start another so you can understand it properly. Here localhost colon 3000 slash. Here you can see there is no output because we have not given any output to the screen. We have given output to the command prompt. You can see we have given output to the command prompt, right? So that home message is going to display because we have given our here message home, right? So server started, and after that one, if I type slash, I will get the message home. Or if I write, for example, instead of this one, if I am going to write down ABC, and then I want to display the home message, then means after slash it will not return anything, but while I am typing ABC, it will display the message ABC. After saving this file, I have to restart the server, right? So I'm going to type Control C. Again, I'm going to restart the server. Remember one thing, whenever you are going to change any of the JS file, JavaScript file, you have to restart this server, right? Otherwise your changes will not be reflected. So I have started the server, and again I'm going to call the same URL. But here you can see, if I'm going to call this, what I am getting, cannot get slash. That means we are not having any facility at the slash. But where we have given the facility? At ABC, right? So slash ABC. While we type slash ABC, at that time you can see ABC is typed. So this message is typed. Now instead of here, I want to give message into the browser. Like I want to display message over here so that I can realize, yes, this page is called or not. I don't need to check over here also. Right? So what to do? Let me close it, and let me change this file. Here, instead of this one, what I'm going to write down, response.end. Here, whatever I am going to type, for example, this is home page, and let it be just slash. So whenever I am going to type slash or just type localhost colon 3000, it will display message. This is home page at the browser itself. No need to check the console. This message will display on command prompt, but this message will display. You can see we are sending the response. What we are sending by this text, and we are ending the response. So this text we are sending to the browser. So now let me start the server again. So server started, and then let me open it. You can see this is a home page. Now you can see there is no process ongoing, and this is the output that is going to display in our screen, right? So yes, here you can see ABC. For ABC also it is giving, because we are after slash whatever we are writing, that is also it is going to consider. So for slash also it is going to display. We can prevent that one. After later on we will see we can also prevent this one. So exactly if you are typing just slash, then only you will get this message. So this is how you can print into the browser. Okay. Now here you can type HTML code also. For example, instead of this one, I am going to type H1, H2, H3 table content, whatever content you want to type, whatever dynamic content you want to give, that content also you can give over here. So that content will be executed and run in the browser. Here you can see this is the HTML content. Also, you can mention what type of content you are going to specify. For example, here I have mentioned this content. But before this one, you can mention that you are going to send the HTML content, or you are going to send the PDF file, or you are going to send the image file by setting the headers also. Right? So generally we don't require for this application. So we are not going to mention that one. Otherwise, you can write down like a response dot set header, and you can set at the header the content type, accept type. In that one, you can mention HTML slash text slash HTML, text slash JSON, whatever content you are going to send. Right? So this is our home directory. Now let me create our controller, where we will insert the database. Also we require database connection. So for database we require MongoDB, but MongoDB directly not available, so again we need to install it. So let me install that package also. For MongoDB, see, we already installed 3 packages together in one command we have installed. Now later on, if you require to install any other command, another package, again you can write down same command npm install and the name of the package. So for MongoDB, package name, that is a Mongoose. This is the package name. There are different packages available for MongoDB also, but we are going to use Mongoose package. So let me install it. So that package is going to install, and once you install it, you can see our package file also. Package file will be updated. This file will be updated with this package, that is a Mongoose. Earlier we have seen this package was not there in that one. Now it is installed. Now let me check the package.json file. Okay, again you can see Mongoose is added. Version is 5.10.5. Again, if you want to check what is Mongoose, how to include it, what are the examples of it, you can go to the npm, and after inserting this one, what we need to include in our app file. Right, over here we need to add, then after we need to create a connection. So here I am going to create const Mongoose. You can give any name over here, but it is better to give the same name so we cannot get confused. Here package name, that is Mongoose. This package we are going to use. So now we need to create a connection with our MongoDB database. Right? So again, let me go to this npm website, and what package we have installed. Let us check about that package, that is a Mongoose. Let's see the detail and examples of it. Okay, Mongoose, or it is for MongoDB. Right? You can go in the website mongoosejs.com for the more detail. Here, how to install. Right? We already installed like the same way. We have already installed this one. You can also install like this way. You also include like this way. You can create connection like this way. Right? After connection, you can create a model. See, now we are going to use MVC architecture in this one. We have used Express framework. In Express framework, how to create MVC architecture manually, that we are going to learn. So we will create model, view, and control. I think you already learned about the MVC architecture, right? In that one, model means what it contains. It contains the structure or schema of the database. View contains generally HTML files, and controller will have the all logic, or you can say queries, and all the logics will be available inside that controller. So this way we can create a schema. So you can directly take from here to save the time. Here you can see mongoose.connect, and then you have to give the connection string. So let me copy it and paste into our application. Here I'm going to paste mongoose. Okay, here we have given the same name, mongoose. So mongoose.connect localhost, and let here give the port number. Here we need to give the port number of MongoDB, that is a 27017. This is the default port number of MongoDB. On this port number, MongoDB is working. It's providing its service on this port number. Like we are using MySQL, and it is providing service on 3607. Same way, MongoDB is providing service on this one. And here you need to mention the database name. For example, I am going to create a new database, and database name I am going to mention, for example, demo database, right? And these are the parameters. See, here you can see this is the bracket and this is the ending bracket. But after that one, first parameter is the connection string, and second parameter, that is the option. These are the options. That means we want to use new URL parser true, use unified topology true. These are the few of the options that we can mention. We don't need to go in detail for that options. This is for few of the deprecations version option. That means if you want to suppress some of the warning, you can write down those over here. Okay. Now connection we have created, and if you want to check whether connection created properly or not, what we can do here, we can again at our last parameter, what we can pass here, we can see, we can type a function like error and our function, right? So if error occur, then we will type in command prompt that yes, some error occurred. We are not going to display on screen. Instead, we will print on console.log that error in DB connection. And if there is no error, then we will type message that connection successfully. Connection successfully with MongoDB. So we have connected with database, and after that one, if database is connected, it will display this message. Otherwise, it will fire this message. Right? So let me run this program. Again, the same command node.fjs. If there is any error, it will show over here, but there is no error. As it is, you can see connection successfully with MongoDB. Here you can see demo database will be available for us. If this database is not there, it will create that database also. Right? So I have mentioned demo. So demo database will be created, and let me check in MongoDB. Let me open the MongoDB also. I am going to use MongoDB Compass. Right? So it will show all the available databases and whatever we will create inside that database. Now I have created connection. Now what I want to do, first of all, I want to create one model, then after controller. But before that one, let me first of all open our HTML file. So let me see what is the HTML file. Let me show you what HTML file we are having. I already shown you the application HTML files. You can see these are our HTML files. If you want to create a very simple application, you don't need to include these files. But you can see this is a add user page, add user HTML file. That is something like that page is something like this one. This is simple HTML page with this form. So we want to first of all start with insertion of the data. So this page, first of all, we have to call. For example, if I am going to type over here in URL, if I am going to type localhost :3000/add user. For example, if I am going to type this one, then if I am currently going to type, it will not open this page. But after our process, what we want to do after calling this add user, it should display whatever HTML page we have seen currently, right? So now what to do? This HTML page we want to add. So let me copy that HTML page. This HTML page and its CSS, because this HTML page is also going to use CSS. Let me show you the HTML of this page. Sorry. Okay. This is a simple HTML, like you can see HTML head, then a few of the style. Also, I have included external style that is inside CSS folder, bootstrap.css, then body, then div, then you can see form, and inside that one input. So this is a basic HTML. Then you can see at last there is a footer, right? So this HTML file I want to use this add user, and same way there is a display HTML page. So I am going to copy this file and I am going to insert into our project, but directly this HTML file I can't access. First of all, to be allow access this file, we need to configure our view directory. Now you understand something like for MVC architecture, what we need? Model. Already discussed. We are going to create model for Mongoose. Then we will create controller also for that. And at last we also need to create view. But let me first of all create a view, right? So to create a view or to support a view or to support a HTML file, what we need to create in our project, we need to create views folder. Remember, the name should be views, not just a view, right? So this name must be views. You can change it. We will see how to change it. But if you want to use default, it should be views. Inside these views, I will put HTML file. So whatever HTML file I am having, I am just going to paste over here. That the HTML file that I shown you, this HTML file, I am going to copy. I am going to paste over here. So inside view, we are going to use that HTML file. So I have just copied and pasted. But here we can't use this HTML extension. Here, let me show you EJS. Here the concept of EJS will come. We already installed EJS, you know, right? But how to configure it? To configure it, we need to mention like app.set. We need to set the view engine. That means we have to tell to the Node.js that we are going to use EJS library. We are going to use EJS templating, or for view purpose, we are going to use EJS. So here I am going to mention view engine. Which view engine we are going to use? We are going to use EJS. There are lots of different types of view engine, or you can say this is also known as a templating engine, right? So EJS we are going to use as a template. For a HTML we are going to use EJS, or you can say extended JavaScript, right? So this module we are going to use instead of this one. You can use JED, you can use HBS, you can use Express handlebars. There are lots of different types of view engines available, but I am going to use in this project, that is a EJS. So this file I have added. This I have mentioned that I am going to use view engine, that is a EJS. EJS is going to use in this project. So now inside view we can use add user, right? But we cannot use the extension HTML. We need to rename it with EJS. We need to rename this file, rename the extension of this file with EJS, because we are going to use EJS template. Whatever template you are using, based on that one you have to rename the file. So though it is HTML file, you have to mention EJS. So this is our file. Now let me mention over here. For example, this is our app. For example, slash, I have mentioned this one. Same, I am going to copy it. Now what I am going to use for add user. What I am going to use for add user. What I need, instead of displaying message, I want to display the file. So instead of end method, there is another method, that is a render. Render means it is going to render HTML content. So here you can mention the name of the file. What is the name of that file? That file name is add user. That's why I am going to use here add user without extension. No need to mention .tjs.html anything. So this will redirect you to that file. If you are going to type slash add user, see, if you are going to type just slash, then it will display this message. If you are going to type slash add user, it will render, or you can say redirect to the HTML. Instead of use, let me mention the get. If I am going to use the get request for this one, then it is going to use this facility, right? So let me start. Okay, so every time, see, till now we have changed many time into JS file, and every time what we need to do, we need to restart our server. Instead, there is one package also available that is going to restart your server automatically while you are going to update into JS file. So that package is a NodeMon. That package name, that is a NodeMon. You can install that package also. So let me install that package so that every time we don't need to restart this server. So to install it, you know the command npm nodemon. Sorry, npm install nodemon. So every time we don't need to remember that we have restarted or not. If we not restart, it will not affect the result. Right. So this package is going to install, and after installation of that package, how to use that package I will explain. So let us wait for it. Yes, and let me tell you what changes we have done. Earlier we have used just use method. Instead, over here we have used a get method. You can see there are different types of methods. You can make a request through the different methods. For example, you can use the get request. You can use the post request. These two requests you already know, because in home you already use this request. Other than that, there are few other requests like delete request, right? Like put request. These are the different types of requests that you can send through this app object, right? Through this express. So get means you can directly pass through URL. Post means you can pass through the form. Delete means you can use it for the deletion of record. Put means you can use it for the updation of record. So here I am directly going to pass the add user in browser. That's why I am going to use get. If I am going to call this URL through form and through post method, then I need to mention over here post, right? So that's why I have mentioned get. Let me check. Yes, so it is installed. And how to use it? To use it, you can use npx. Instead of earlier what you are doing, node app.js. Earlier you are going to type like this way, right? Now you need to just write down npx prefix, npx nodemon app.js. So this will start server, sorry, JSN. It is okay, still started. Actually it should be app.js, right? So now what will happen, see, if I change, I am doing change anything over here, you can see this server here, you can see it is automatically loaded. So every time we don't need to reload the server, we don't need to remember that we have restarted or not. So you have to just check over here whether it is reloaded. Yes, reloaded, then don't need to do any action, or it is automatically going to reload it. Now let me call our page, that is a add user. If I am going to call it, you can see this is the content of our HTML. But you can see few of the designs are not coming, right? Because when we have seen the HTML purpose, when we have seen the HTML file, the layout is different, and over here also layout is different. The reason is CSS file is not loaded. HTML content executed, but actually you see here we have given the name add user, and this add user is what this point is going to mention, this add user, right? And what it is going to do, if you are going to type this URL in browser, it will render this file. Which file? Add user file. And add user file we already added in this folder. Now in this file we have used this CSS. You can see CSS, but that CSS is not loaded, right? So what you need, you also need to take the CSS. But where to put those CSS? You cannot put CSS inside views. If you are going to put over here, then also it is not going to use it. So what you need to do here, we have to mention over here, we have to mention which directory we are going to use for the static resources. That means CSS, font, images. For that one, which directory we will use? For that one, we have to set one parameter we have to use, for example app.use, and we have to mention express.static, and which is the static path, that is a public folder. Any folder name you can give here, whatever name you are going to give over here, that folder should be inside your current directory. So what you need in our main project here, you need to create that directory. So that directory is a public. That means your all static resources will be here. That means HTML content will be different in a view. All HTML file will be in view, and all CSS and JavaScript will be available inside this public folder. So let me copy those files, CSS folder, and let me put over here. And here you can see Bootstrap file is there. So now you can see inside CSS folder there is a Bootstrap folder, but this CSS folder is available inside which folder? Public folder. So public CSS and then bootstrap.css. But in HTML here you don't need to mention the public folder, right? Because you have directly pointed that this folder is the public, you can directly use it. So you can just write down CSS bootstrap. And now let me start this again. Now I don't need to bother about restarting the server, right? So just I have to refresh it. You can see those CSS are loaded, and our all the layouts are as it is, and all the files are loaded. If you remember, here we have used the method name that is a static. Here you can see express.static. So express have one method that is a static, that is going to mention which is the static folder, or which is the folder for static files, or you can say JS or HTML or JavaScript, sorry, JS or images or JavaScript files, right? So how this is how we can set the views, and this is how we can set the static folder. Now our layout is ready. Now if we fill this form, if we click on submit button, so what should we do? What should be done? It should be sent to another URL where this all data is going to send. For example, here if we see the code of that file, if we see the code of add user HTML file, here add user, and you can see the form, and in method we should mention post, and here in action what we need to mention, whatever action we want to perform. For example, if I am going to use the as an action, I am going to call this URL, or for example in PHP you are going to use like add data.php, you are going to write down something like this one. So logic of inserting all this data is available inside this file. But here we are going to mention, for example, for this one, this is a user table, because this form is for the user. So we will create a user table, and for user we will create a URL that is user. Any URL you can create. I am going to create with the name user, but this URL will be called through post method. So I have to mention it that I am going to use a post method, and then in post method, if I'm going to type /user, then all this data, that means which data, this input data, this input, all this input will be sent to this URL, and this URL have to perform insertion process of the data, right? So here input tag is there, and you can see what is the name of that one. That is a username. Here you can see first name. Here you can see last name and age. For simplicity, let me remove this one. So we are not going to manage this one. Username we don't require. We just going to create first name, last name, and age. Right. So when I click on submit button, this is a button. This is a type of submit button, or you can say input control with submit. So when I will submit, it will send all these three data: first name, last name, and age. To which file? /user. Or file, or you can say which controller? A user with post method. So I need to create that method. But before creating this method, I require a model. So let me first of all create model. That means I have to create database structure. What type of database will be? What type of fields will be there in database? Like in database, the table name will be the user. The field name will be the F name, L name, and age. Right? So that model I am going to create. So you can create directly over here also, but I am going to create inside one folder. So I am going to give the name models. You can give any name. It is not required, and in fact you can write down outside also. But to separate it out, I am going to write down into model. So here you can see this is a model. This is a view. MVC structure we are going to build one by one, right? So inside models, I am going to create one Java file. Sorry, one JS file. So I am going to create user model. Any name I can you can give, but it should be a proper name, like user model.js. Right? So inside this one we have to write the model. Now we need to define the structure of the database. So for that one we need mongoose. So as I already explained, each file have a separate variable. So if you have defined any of the packages inside F, you cannot use over here, except you are exporting it, right? So I again need to create few of the variable. I just need one variable, so creating it const mongoose, because through mongoose we can create the schema of that one. So mongoose required. In fact, in JavaScript, you know, semicolon is not required, but as habituated, we are writing the semicolon. So required mongoose. I'm going to use mongoose. So mongoose dot schema. This is the class that we are going to use. Inside mongoose, there is a class. You can say a schema. I'm going to store into some of the variable. You can use where or a schema. So I'm going to use, for example, user is equal to this one. And after user schema is equal to again a new variable. I'm going to create object through this one, new user. So I'm going to create, see, in fact, actually, I have given a name to this schema. So to this schema class, I have given the name user. And here I'm going to create its object. And that object is going to store inside this one, right? So user, inside this one, I need to pass the schema. So what type of schema will be there? Schema will be like you have to mention what are the fields you need into table. For example, this is for the user table. So I'm going to mention the name of the field. For example, field name, that is first name, and for that one, I'm going to pass type. What is the type of this one? Here you can see you are creating a MySQL database, and you are going generating a table. So what you need field name and data type. So this is the field name, first name. What is the data type? String. So you have to use the data types according to the MySQL. So MySQL have the string data, according to the MongoDB. So MongoDB have data type string. So the next, you can also mention few other parameters like whether it is required, whether it is unique. So those type of things you can mention over here. So required is equal to, you can mention true. See, most of the code will be in JSON format. You can see this is a JSON like a format, right? So everything will be in JSON or in array format. First name, last name. You can also take f name, last name, f name, l name as it is when where we have taken in HTML, so that you can directly map it. Okay, and another thing, what will be the table name for this structure, that you can mention separately. Here you can see this is the different thing. This is the first parameter, and second parameter what I am going to mention here, I'm going to mention that it is going to use the table name that we can mention through the collection, and here we can mention the table name. For example, this table name will be the user, right? So that is the table name, and here it is going to complete like this way. So we have created a schema. So these are the three fields. This is the name of the table. Now I have to export this because I have to use this schema into every files, into our controller. So I am going to export it. You already know we have started with this, like module dot export. So this variable I am going to export. This variable you will use in another file. This schema you can use in another file. So what I'm going to use, mongoose dot model. Which model? Here this model is a user model, and what we are going to pass into this one, this schema. So equivalent to this schema, it will create a model, and that model will be exported. So wherever we are going to include this file, which file? User model.js, we are able to use this schema, right? So this is our schema. You can also see if you are not comfortable with all this syntax, because I know that I have written many of the syntax, and if you are new in Node, it will be the heavy dose for you, but you can get few of the help from this library. Here in Mongoose, we already opened this npm.js, and here you can see the schema. See, mongoose.schema. We have created its variable. Then here you can see we have created its object. Then we have mentioned parameters. The same thing that we have done. But here you can see this is the name. And after that one, we can specify the types. But if it is one, you can directly mention. But if it is multiple, then you have to specify in array form. Here you can see another example. This way we have defined. So you can directly copy from here, right? So to save the time, you can take from here. So this is our model. Now we have to create controller. So our add form will be completed. So let me create, go to our project and let me create one folder, controller. It is not required to create folder. You can create directly file, but it is a good structure. So that's why we can write down controllers, and inside this one we will create controller. Now you can see our MVC architecture done. Model, view, and controller. So inside controller, what I'm going to create now, core logic of insertion process will be over here. So this is a user controller. That's why I am going to give the name user controller dot js. You know, every file must have extension js. Right? Now inside this file, I have to create a roots. That means whatever we have created in app.js file, if you open again that file app.js, you can see this is what? This is a root. Right? But every root you cannot write down over here. Every logic you cannot write down into this same file. That's why what we are going to do, we are going to separate out that logic in this file. Otherwise, in one file also you can create the whole program. So we have just separated it out. I'm going to create logic over here. I need here express. That's why I'm going to create its object. Again, same thing. Required express. Then I need a router. So where router is equal to express dot router. So what express will create a router for that one. If you are aware with Laravel or any other version, so you can see there is a one file with the name web.php or web.config. So this file have the routes. So same way we are creating route over here, and all routes will be available in app file. So router dot root. We are going to create root for it. So what will be the root for this one? We are going to create root slash. See what we are going to create? A root slash. So we are going to create root is equal to router dot root. It is a slash. That means this slash will be our root. Now I am going to write down a get method or post method, whatever method I want to write down. But I want to create a insertion process. Here, let me open that file, this file. I want to create what? This slash user. So what I need, slash user router should be, some method should be created in the post format. So what I am going to create, I am going to write down post here. And still I am not going to write down user here. I will explain why I am going to not write down, but it will work like a slash user. Right? So here I have the same way, in same line I can write down a post, but instead of same line I am just going to put enter. So post. What I am going to write down inside post? Inside post I have to pass the parameters, right? So here inside post I am going to do the request and response. See, this is what? This is equivalent to earlier we have done into the app.js file. See, same way app.get we have done. Instead of get you can do the post also. The only difference is we are not going to write down this over here. Directly we are going to write down this method. So I am going to write down request, response, and then this method. Right? So inside this method, what I am going to do? So when it will be called, when I will type slash user in browser or with post request, if I'm going to call slash user, this method will be called. Which method? This post method. That means this function. What I need to do inside this one, I need to create an insert query over here. So I don't need to write down like select star. It is a MySQL query, but I need to use the model over here. See here you can see this model we have created. So I need to use this file. Which file? User model, and that is exported. So this schema is exported, and I will use that schema, and through that one I will create a insertion process. So I need that file over here, right? So for that file I can write down the name of that file. That is for example here let me give the name, that is a user model. Any name I can give user model, but here in required I need to pass that file name. What is the file name? Sorry, what is the file name? User model. So I need to pass user model, but user model.js, but I don't need to mention the JS extension. Also, this is located in which folder? Models. So models folder. But as you know, if it is a our file, that means user generated file, we need to mention the relative path. So where this file is located from this current directory, where we are inside controller. So we have to go back one step. So that's why we have written dot dot, and then after we will find the models folder. Then after we will find the user model. So I am going to mention dot dot, that means back directory, models, user model. Right? So now that user model will be referring to this one. Whatever I am going to return through this one, what I am going to return, I am going to return model of this schema. So that is exported and that is used over here. So this variable now referring our model or our scheme. So now I'm going to use that variable user model dot and its method we can use. So to create a new entry or to create an insert query, we are having insert method. Right? Insert method, and we need to pass here the parameter. So what parameter we need to pass? Whatever we are getting through the request. So request dot body. Inside request there will be one inner parameter, that is a body. But what will happen here, you can see here, you know, this form will submit these three input. That means fname, lname and age. These three parameter will be sent through request and through the post request to the /user. That means whatever method we have created over here. So that will be available inside this one. So whatever we get, we pass to the create method. That means that data will be created. We don't need to specify one by one parameter. Directly it will create that parameters. Right? So this way we have passed that parameter, and second parameter is again a function. See here, this is a function. Actually, whatever we have written, it is inside a function. But inside this one, if this operation performs successfully or fail, it will pass to this function again. Again, it will pass to this function. Or you can see whatever result we are getting, that result will be available inside this one. So again, I am going to create a new function, and what result will contain, whatever record will be created, that record will be inside this one. First of all, I will display message into the console that yes, it is created. Or let me write a console dot log record inserted. Then after insertion, I want to again send back to that page, or you can say I want to send back to another page. For example, to send back, we have a response dot render method where I want to send back to the user. I want to send to another file, for example, display file. Okay? So I am going to specify the name of the file, that is a display. Still, I have not added. I will add file over there. So what it is going to do, it is going to send to the display method. Right? So sorry, display file. So that means after render, whatever I am writing, that should be the file name. See here in app also you can see I have written response.render and add user. That means there is a one file add user.js. Right? There is a one file inside views folder add user.js. So here also I have written response.render. That means there should be one file display.ejs. Right? So where I am going to display the records. That logic we will write down later on, displaying record. But inside this file, let me just call that file with static data. Then after we will do it dynamic. So I need to copy that file and need to put over here. So I just need to copy a display file, and let me show you what is the content inside display file. So that same content will be this fixed content, this is a static content, right? Not a dynamic. Then after we will do it dynamic. So this content will be displayed if operation is successful. So let me copy this file and put inside our views folder. And you know that we cannot use HTML extension. What we need to use, which library we have used, EJS. So that's why we have to rename it through EJS. And yes, this file is already available. You can also separate out header footer, that we are going to see later on if we are having time, then how we can separate out header and footer file. So if we are having time, we will also see that one. Now display file is there. We have written logic inside this one also, that if operation is successful, then it will display in console also that record inserted, and then after it also display the message. You can also handle the error if there is any error, we can handle it, but I don't want to make complexity unnecessary over here at initial stage. But this file we have still not included into the our app file. So I need to just include this app file. Also what I need to export this one. Now this router I have created, but I need to export. Again, I have to use this inside app file. So module dot exports equal to what I need to write, name of the router. Right, exports and router. So this router I have exported, and let me write down into the app file. Now similar to this one, I need to write down another one, but instead of get I need to use. Also I need to specify over here use, and here I need to mention the name of that controller, the name of this controller. That means I have to pass this router over there. But how to get that router? To get that router, I need to include this file, user controller. So let me include it. Let me include over here so you can understand it. So I'm going to create variable. I'm going to write down router, or I can say router or user router. Let me write down user router. What? Which file? That is a user controller, and that is available inside which folder? It is a controller. And what is the current path? It is from the current directory. So current directory, because app.js file is in root directory, so from root directory you can directly go to the controllers, and then after use, I think this is a smaller user controller, you can see user controller.js, and that controller I'm going to pass here, user router. Now it is linked. See, I told that here I have just mentioned slash, still it will be considered as slash user. The reason is because I am going to export this router to this app file, and in this app file I have passed over here that router. So slash user I have added. After that one, what it will add? It will add the slash, whatever I have mentioned inside the router. For example, if I have written over here ABC. So what happened? ABC it will be added before the after the user. That means this URL will become user, or you can say slash user slash ABC, right? But currently I have written like this way, so this ABC will be removed. That means if I just write down slash user, but if I will call with the post, it will call this URL, right? So I have written over here through the user. Now let me check the file again, this one here. You can see, now you can check slash user. That means what it will call? It will search for the slash user URL and of post type. So this is the correct URL for that. This is the correct method for that one. So this method will be called, and it will insert the record, and all data also I have passed. So let me test it. me check. Okay, something semicolon or let me check where semicolon is missing. Required to. Okay, after required there should not be semicolon. See, till now I have not included this file. That's why model file also not included. See, in controller I have included model and there is error inside model, but that is not coming because still I have not included the controller or model file inside our app. So this semicolon is the error because this is a error. So let me save. Now again it is starting. If still error, yes, it is going to mention a bracket error, user model. So there is some bracket missing over here. So everyone available?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay. Fine. Okay. One problem that we are getting, that is this name and the parameter we are passing over here. Add form. Yes, here. This name and this parameter should be the same. The reason is that can be different, but for that one we need to use a different logic. For example, if these both are same, then what is the advantage? See here, if both are same, then in this create method, let me show. In this create method, we can just pass request.body itself. If we can pass this, otherwise what we need to pass, we need to pass each parameter separately. We have to write down insert like a query, right, where we need to pass all the parameters like app name, first name is equal to app name, then last name is equal to l name. That type of parameter MongoDB equivalent query we need to pass. But if we take the same parameter, then we don't need to take. The another error that we are getting, that is we forgot to put the bracket over here. That is the reason. And we don't need to store this inside any of the variable. We directly need to use router.route. That is the error of the last program. So in model here we have by mistake written module.export instead of exports. So not only one error, but due to 2-3 error, we are not able to insert it. But I have corrected all those error. Let me show you the insertion process. So, for example, let me reload the page. I'm going to enter any of the name. For example, John Blue, and age is, for example, 20. And I'm going to submit it. So we are redirected to the user page where we have just created a simple HTML that is going to display our user at user module. So we are on the same on this page. That means we didn't get any error. And here also you can see record inserted. This message be found. Right? Also check our database. Here you can see if you are connected to the MongoDB in demo database, if this database is not there, it will be created, and inside that one user table is created, and in user table you can see John entry is there. So this way we can insert the record, right? So here you can see we need to debug all the errors, whatever error we are getting. We are not able to find create method. This create method we are not able to find because I forgot to write down s. Exports, right? Instead of exports, I have written export. Earlier there is some another error. that is here we can see this method, this error we got, but this error it is because of we missed the bracket after the router, right? That error I shown you because we missed bracket over here after router. We have just written express dot router, so we have not created its object. Instead we have just assigned a new name to that one. That is the error. So this way we can insert. Now if we see the process of update, for example, I told for insert you can put link over here, so insert will be redirected to that page. That page is complete. This page, in this page we have to display the records. So if we are going to do it right now, so it will take a lot of time. Instead of that one, I've already shown you one demo when I have started the seminar. So let me demonstrate that application. Let me explain the code of that application so that we can save the time, because for explanation for initial level, if we are going to do this one, it will again take more time. So better to just understand the existing application. So let me demonstrate that application. That application is a same again I have created same structure so you can understand it easily. Like here you can see this is a CRUD project that I have explained you first. Here you can see view folder. There is a display function, sorry, display file. Inside this one you can see this is the code of the display, HTML code. Only difference is what I have done. In between I have used this code. See in table here you can see this is the output of that page, right? And let me run that application instead of this one so we can get the better idea. Let me close this one and let me go to the path of that application. Use CRUD here, run it. I have to run only one time because we are not going to change anything. So directly I can write down node app.js. So once app start, we can see that process. It is also on the same port. We have closed that app and we have started this one. So now if I am going to use user, it is going to call that application. Now you can see this data is from that app. Here if I click on add, you can see here at bottom side here you can see user/view. So I have created just a path user/view for insertion, same like I have created over here user add, right? So if I clicking on that one, you can see user view where I am going to display this page. Instead currently I am going to display add user. So path can be different. After adding this one, this page is there where I have displayed all the record, while I am going to use just a user, right? So after user, that means user and slash, this page is going to display. So let me show the controller of this one. For that one, this is the controller, the same controller that we have created. You can see we have created this controller, right? Like we have created post, then after request response, then after create, then after body, and then after this is going to display. That means after this one, after successful insertion, this will insert the record. We are redirecting to the user. But what is /user? That means if I am call /user, right? So it is a get request, and get request what will do? User model dot user. That means inside model I have passed through the username. So you can also, as per our application, you can write down over here user model, just user model dot find. What I need to find? I need to find everything. That's why I have not given any condition over here. Blank, that means every data. So it will fetch every data. But if you want to filter it out, for example, whose username, whose first name is ABC, only that I want to display. So I can give that condition over here. For example, I can give condition f name ABC. So only those data which are starting, which data has a first name ABC, that will be displayed. So if this is going to execute, after that, what it is going to do? After that, it will render the display file. That means it will display, it will call the display.ejs file. And what it will also pass, it will pass one parameter. See, here we can pass one parameter. Earlier we have seen, over here we have directly written just a name of the file. But with that name, we want to pass the parameter. So with user's name, we are passing parameter user. But what is user? User is this parameter. But this parameter is what? Whatever we are getting through the find method. Through find method, whatever result we are getting, that is going to store inside this user variable, and that variable we are passing to this one. That means our whole table data of user is available inside this one. But where we are passing it? To the display page. So in display page, it will be available with the user's name, right? So in user's name, let me show you that display view. In display, what we are doing here, you can see this is a simple HTML table. Here dynamic code starts. Here we have created dynamic row, but what we have used, users dot. See, what is this users? This users is coming from this file. Here whatever we have passed user. That means all data of the user. So what I am going to do, users dot for each. This is how we can write down for each inside EJS file. Or it is a, you can say HTML syntax, sorry, JavaScript syntax. In JavaScript, you can write down for loop like this way also. You can also write for I, but this is a for each loop. So users dot for each. Every value will be stored inside this user variable. That means first record will be fetched, it will be stored inside user. But user dot username, user dot first name, we have removed this field. But in this project, we are also having username. But according to our project, you can see user dot fname, user dot lname, user dot h. This we have printed using this syntax, less than percentage equal to. It will directly print where? Into the TD tag. And at last TD tag, what we have given? We have given edit facility and also delete facility using anchor tag. But if we are clicking on edit, right? See here, if we are clicking on this edit, this is the edit facility. Here you can see what is the URL of that one. That URL you can see over here. That is localhost, user, view, and some ID. This ID is the ID of this record. From where we can get that ID? You can see that ID. You see up to here we have passed static, but this is a dynamic, like a user dot underscore ID. This underscore ID is what? Every record will have one underscore ID, right? This ID will be passed. So this ID we are passing over here. So user slash view slash that ID. So based on this one, whatever view we have created, that view will be called. For this one, which view we have created? So we have to search like slash user and view. So go to the controller. Here we know that here slash means user. In this file, slash means user, because in app we have mentioned user. So after that one, we have to find where we have written a view. Here you can see a view. Here you can see there are two view, but after view also we are passing some data. So this is the ID of the data. So this router will be called user.route. Here what I have written, slash view slash colon ID. That means this will be passed. This ID will be passed as a parameter. Here you can see that ID we are passing over here. That ID we are passing over here after view. So let me click on this one. If I am going to click on this one, that is going to pass to user view and then after ID. That means whatever query string going to match for this one, that will be executed. So for this one, this is going to match. This is going to match. So what it will do? It will use user model dot find one. From database, it will find the record. Which record? Whatever ID is this one. Because what we need, once I click on edit, I need to fill up all this data. So to fill up all this data, I required record of that data. So record of that data is available over here using this method, find one. For that ID, here you can see, we want to search one record from the user table with an ID. Which ID? Whatever ID we have passed from here. But it is referred as a request.params and then after name of this one. What is the name we have given? ID. If we have given here, for example, user ID, here you need to write down user ID. Whatever name after colon we have given, that we can access like using request.params. It is a accessing parameter. In PHP, you are using it something like $_get, and whatever parameter you have passed, you are getting it. Right? Here you can use ID, something like this one. Right? So here, how you can get it? Request.params.id, whatever here you have passed. After that one, it will render add user file. Render, that means it is going to mention a file. Add user file will be called. So add user file, you have to see add user file will be called. That means the same file that we have created for insert, that also will be used for updation. And over there also we are going to pass the data of the user. That means whatever data we get from this find method, that will be available in this user variable, and that we are going to pass with username. So that is available inside add file. Let me open the add file. Now in add file, there is a simple form that we already seen. But what extra changes we need to done? These changes we have not done because this form we have used for insert only. But for update, what we need to change? If it is update, how we can know that this page is for update? Right? Because this same page will be used for insert and update. How we can know? If we are passing parameter. For example, here you can see, if this same page have a parameter after view, that means it is for update. But if I remove this parameter, that means it is for insert. See, if I remove this parameter and press enter, what it will happen? Whatever data I will enter, it will insert. But if I pass the parameter, that means for this ID, whatever record is there, that is going to fetch here. And if I submit, this will be submit to the another page instead of insert. So that logic also I have mentioned here. For example, first of all, how to get the records? Like if I am passing ID over here, how I am getting these records? So this value coming through the value field, right? So that value field here you can see input and value. In value, what I have passed? Because see, here I have need to give a condition. If I have passed the parameter, that means if user parameter is available, then only I need to display its username into the first text box. But if this is not available, then this condition will not be true and this will not print anything. That means when we are in insert mode, it will display blank, but when we are in update mode, it will display record. So same condition we have also given for fname. Here you can see if user is available, then print user.fname. If user is available, then print user.lname. Same age. So whatever parameters are there, we have passed over here. So that's why we are getting those data populated. That's why we are getting this data over here populated for insert, for edit. But if I remove this one, then this will be in insertion mode. That means whatever I am going to enter it, it is going to insert. Another thing, if you observe, let me show you the source code of this one. See here in form, you can see action will be not just user. If you remember, in add method we have just written add user, but for update what we are using, some ID and at last edit. So you can assume what will be the URL for this one, what will be the controller method for this one. So controller method will be like this, user will not be there, so forget about that. This will be the ID, that means colon ID slash edit. That means if slash user then some ID and edit, then you need to update the query, right? This is for the updation. So let me show you that method in controller. Here you can see at this process. Okay. Yes, at this one. Here you can see slash user. We already assume that this is a user control. That's why it is a slash user. Then after slash colon ID, and then after edit. That means this post router will be called because this is coming through the post. So this post router will be called, and what it will do? It will see here model, then find one and update. It will find that record and will update. And we know that for this ID only we will get one record. That's why we have used this method. Find and update. So find one record and update it. Which record? Whose ID is this one. અહીંયા જે pass કરેલ છે એ જ ID. That means request.parents.id. And what we need to set? Whatever we have passed through body. Request.body. Whatever we are getting, that we are going to set. Right? So this is something like a update query. This is how update query works in MongoDB. If you want to run update query in MongoDB, you will write something like this one. Here you need to use the set parameter, and whatever set parameter you want to pass, you can pass over here. But here in body, we are having all three parameters like first name, last name, and age. So don't need to mention separately. Otherwise, you have to again create separate array. As I told, if you have taken a separate name, then you have to do the separate processing. But we have taken the same name. That's why we don't need to bother about that. Directly that will be updated into the database. So whatever you have entered into the text box, that will be set. This is the condition. This record only will be updated. Whose underscore ID is request.parents.id. That means whatever we have passed over here. That means whatever we have passed here, that record will be updated. That's why if I am going to submit here, this data will be updated to this ID record. Right? So this is a update process and delete process. Now delete also, for that one, here you can see delete. For delete, what the router we have created, here you can see at last localhost user, then some ID, and then delete. So you have to search the similar router over here. In same file I have written all the router. So here you can see earlier here it will be added slash user colon ID and delete, right? So this method will be called when user click on delete button, and it will do this process. That means model dot find one and remove. See here method is find one and update. Here method is find one and remove. Then after, which record we want to remove? Whose ID is this ID. That means whose underscore ID is request.parents.id. So this is how we can remove the record. This will remove the record, but this is just we are going to redirect to the user, to the display page. So response.redirect. This method also we can use, but this router should be there. Here we are using slash router, but slash router is going to call which method? This just a get method, and it is going to redirect to the display page with data. So that's why if I'm going to delete any record, if I'm going to delete, actually what happened, it is going to redirect to that controller file. It is going to delete that record and again send back to the user/user URL. So if I click on this one, it will delete record, go to that file, deleted that record and again send to this one. It is not done on the same page. It is done on controller. Controller have done the process and redirected to this process. Actually, the whole page is reloaded. The same you can do with the Ajax without reloading it. You have to do minor changes for this one. So this is how you can insert, update and delete and display records in Node.js. Actually, that is a very little time to explain all these things. If you want to go thoroughly with all this facility for the first time, it will be very difficult to explain in just 2 hours. So still I have tried to cover basics in initial hours, and then after this also you can do if you understand the basics. Right? And I will upload this full source code, this CRUD application, the complete application, which is going to perform all 4 operations using MongoDB. You can also see this one is created inside I think a test label, and let me see that file also. Yes, okay. Instead, let me check the app folder, so we can get what is the database name. So let me show the database also. Okay, database is test. So in test, user table. So in test, this user table is there. Username A, B, and E. So let's verify whether the records are there. Yes, A, B, and E. So these are the records coming from that table. So if you are not having this database, then database also will be created automatically. Just you need to install this application and you can perform all the operation. But before this one, you try yourself. This record will be available, video will be available. You just once go through all the concept. First try insert, then after try display, then after edit and delete. One by one, do all the tasks. Make this whole project. It requires some time. Within 1 day you can create it. Right? Still, if you are having any query, you can ask the questions. We are open for the questions.